Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you can all hear and see me. Welcome to this webinar from Flor de Caña with these amazing guests that we have today to talk about sustainability, to talk about cocktail making, to talk about how to create a winning, sustainable cocktail. And in order to do that, we have some of the world's best experts in cocktail making. We have obviously our friend from SRA, Julianne, joining us. Hello, Julianne. Welcome.
Hi, Luis. Good to see you.
And the master of the sustainable cocktail himself, Mr. Giacomo Gianotti. Hello, Giacomo. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Very good. Thank you. All good.
You know, for us at Floricania, it's very exciting to be able to talk to the people who have the same passion for sustainability that we do. And, you know, when creating the Sustainable Cocktail Challenge, that was the idea behind it, right? To really get the bartender community to come along this journey of sustainability with us. And so we talked to Food Made Good and Sustainable Restaurant Association, and they've helped us in this journey as well to make sure that we have the right messaging and the right key points that we're going to be looking for throughout the competition. But obviously, for the contestants who are watching here today, talking or listening to someone like Giacomo talk about the process of creating a sustainable cocktail is super important. So let me start with you before I kind of hand it over to Giacomo, who's going to be the star today. Julianne, tell me, you know, from your perspective, how excited are you as a driver, as an organization that drives sustainability? How excited are you to see the bartender community come into the fray as well?
I'm really excited because I actually think in some ways we're seeing some really exciting and innovative stuff happening in the bartender community. So this idea that food or restaurants and gastronomy, we're thinking about sustainability in one way, and that drinks and cocktails and bartenders hadn't quite caught up. I think now in some ways the tables are turned where you're seeing some real innovation and some real drive happening in bars across the world. One of the other things that really excites me is how much sustainability is a driving passion for young people. And so in the drinks industry, you see quite a lot of people early in their careers, in their hospitality journeys, that get really excited by bars, by cocktail making, by nightlife. And we're starting to see them bringing in that side of their passion. And so I've seen such a progression over the last few years where you started to see people thinking about interesting ways of integrating sustainability, where their ingredients are coming from, that drive to really showcase, high quality produce that's been grown well and tell those stories, to now really seeing a new generation of bartenders that are kind of really inspired constantly, and kind of pushing the ball forward. So I'm really excited to see how things are progressing in the industry.
And without a doubt, I think that inspiration and that drive comes from looking at people like Giacomo, who've had so much success building around sustainability, right, in Paradiso. So, Giacomo, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time. I see you, nice and crispy, cool in Barcelona, sir.
Yes, exactly. I'm very happy to be part of this webinar. Thank you so much, for the Cagna. I had the chance last year to be there and see the distillery and see everything you guys do in Nicaragua, to see with my eye, and it's amazing. Thank you for adding this value. And as you guys were saying, I think nowadays sustainability is a part of our life, because we live in this world. We see all the effect of what we have done so far, and we need to change it. Okay, so even in the cocktail industry, in the cocktail creation, we take sustainability as a part of the creative process. So while we create our cocktail, we need to take sustainability and the sustainability part as as an important part of the process. And at the end of the day, make an experience of for our customers, but as well can add a value for our community. Could be farmer or could be people, you know. Then we help changing things with our work.
How did you get into sustainability? Like, was this something that always interested you, or was it something that kind of came with time? And when you were building the concept around the cocktails for Paradiso, you said, you know what, we're gonna give it a sustainable element from start to finish, and the whole thing was wrapped around that.
I think talking as a person, taking care of our environment is something that I do, and I think it's something that everyone do. You know, we don't want then the world will go on fire. So I think it's part of ourselves to take care of our environment. And so as I I own my bar, I decide little by little to go in the direction of be more sustainable as possible. Of course, when we opened Paradiso more than 8 years ago, the sustainability and all these problem, then we see they were no, we didn't talk that much, okay? And then through the years, we see more the effect of what we live in now. So we focus more and more on the sustainability, but our mindset is every day in the service, what we can improve more in the sustainability. Can be a small change, but in the end of the year, in the end of the years, can be a big effect, big change for us, for the customers, for the community, for the farmers. Sustainability is a big word. We know that we can touch a community of people, can touch product, can touch environmental. So
Yeah.
it's a big word.
So before I ask you to kind of explain your creative process of making a cocktail, also to kind of put this in perspective, Julianne, you guys are part of the team that evaluates sustainability with 50 best restaurants and 50 best bars. Know this. What kind of things are you looking at, and why is it that a bar like Paradiso receives so many accolades in the sustainability world?
It's a really good question. And I actually was thinking a little bit about that as Giacomo was talking about your experience and that trajectory over the last 8 years since starting with the bar. And for the work that we do when looking especially globally at bars in all different contexts, we tend to talk about sustainability in 3 pillars. So we want to look at the sourcing and where the ingredients are coming from. Giacomo, you've been talking about that connection to the farmers, that connection to how your ingredients are grown. And I think that's one of those things where I constantly see both in great bartenders and also in chefs, this idea that when you first start out, maybe you're starting from a place of, I want to create an amazing cocktail and I want to create an amazing experience. But the more that you kind of really go deep in that, the more you realize that a great drink comes from great ingredients. And so you kind of unravel the kind of yarn backwards to realize, if that's going to be the best tasting ingredient possible, it's actually going to be one that's well farmed. And for it to be well farmed, it's actually one that's coming from our local place. And so you kind of create that connection. So the sourcing is always something that's really important to us. The next thing that we tend to look at is the social impact. So Giacomo's been using that word community. I know this is something that's really important to Flor de Caña as well, looking at that social impact of the company. And so as a bar, that's the role that you play in your wider community, and also the role that you play as a community yourself. So the people and how are you taking care of the people in your bar? What does that look like? Is your bar a safe place? All of these things play into that aspect of sustainability. And quite often that social sustainability gets a little bit overlooked. And so this is something that's really important to us. And then finally, that environmental sustainability. And I think this is that kind of maybe a little bit more traditional. People are a little bit more used to these ideas. What are you doing with waste? How are you reducing waste? How are you reducing your energy use? How are you, making use of the finite resources that we have on this planet? And so those are the sort of three pillars that we look at. And what I love is seeing a bartender, somebody like Giacomo, where you've been on this journey where as you start and you think about opening a bar, you guys are just trying to create the absolute best experience possible. We work in an industry that is about hospitality and creating these unforgettable experiences. And then it's like the deeper that you connect with that experience, the deeper that you start to realize the impact of these things. And it makes you, curiosity is one of those things that makes for a great bartender, because then you're exploring great drinks, but then that curiosity takes you on that journey. And we heard about that a little bit last time we spoke too, Luis, when we were talking to Alex, Experience Little Red Door.
For sure, for sure. Well, Giacomo, I'm thinking in terms of our contestants who are listening in, and they're listening to these three pillars, and they're like, all right, well, the sourcing, when they come to Nicaragua, they've sourced their cocktails, that they're going to have additional cocktails that they might have to make if they make the top four, and those ingredients are gonna be sourced. In terms of the social impact, Flor de Caña does that part, and we take care of our community, we grow with our community, giving them free healthcare and free education. And then it comes to the environmental part of it. And obviously, we do our part as a company as well. But in terms of a competition, how do you think, and you haven't been a judge last year, how were you judging the impact on sustainability that these cocktails had?
Yes, so as Julian was said, so the seasonality of the ingredient, where the ingredient coming from, if that ingredient then is farm is helping determinate community of people. So there is all these aspects, then they can add a value of a cocktail, even for the flavor, but as well for the feeling, for the storytelling. Then this recipe it represents. We are human beings, and if it's a great cocktail, well presented, it will come with a great story behind. It will taste better.
Yeah, I think that was something that was prevalent last year with our champion, with Carlos Ferron, and how he had a lot of energy when presenting, for sure, but the cocktail tasted amazing. And then I remember he came out with a tray with the leftover ingredients that he had, and how he was using that to make some compost. And I know that that's something that really struck the judges at the end, because it's like, all right, so he's giving me how he's using these elements, but he's also letting me know, in this case visually, what he's doing with the excess, with the leftovers, with what would normally just go in the trash bin, right? So that was interesting. So tell us a little bit about your creative process to create a cocktail and to have the storytelling behind it. If you are one of these 32 contestants who's coming to Nicaragua to shake for $10,000, what would you recommend? How would you go about that?
Okay, so my suggestion is to have an idea, a font of inspiration, and this is can be for a single drink, then as a creative process for a full menu, as we do at Paradiso. So have a font of inspiration, have an idea, have something then you love and you want to transmit, with the cocktail to the other people. So you have this font of inspiration, and then you need to research about it and know it most of than you can about this font of inspiration. With all the information then you get out of it, you will start to get information then can be linked with a presentation, with a vessel, with any story, then it can be linked with a traditional recipe for Nicaragua or for a particular ingredient, then can be pair good with the rum. for example, and you will build your story on your idea. So it's a creative process. Then you start with an idea, and then you search for it. You make a brainstorming. You will find a lot of different information, and then you will cut down to have just the right one. Then you serve for the presentation of the drink, the ingredient of the cocktail, the storytelling, the garnish, and then you put all these elements together, and then they will make it into a presentation of the drink, and to create an experience for the guests, or in this case, for the judges.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think at the end of the day, it's also about flavor, right? And you have to include that part in that process of building, because like Julianne was saying at the beginning, we are in the hospitality industry. We are creating a wonderful experience for our patrons, right? We want them to look at something that looks amazing, that has a good story behind it. But at the end of the day, you have to taste it, and it still has to taste fantastic, right? And it's important, I think, for contestants not to get lost in just one aspect of the competition in terms of presentation and the visual of the cocktail, but also remember the cocktail has to taste good at the end of the day. This is something that you're serving someone, and I think the idea of me having a drink and saying I would order this and can I get another is always going to be an important factor, right? Would that be a fair assessment, you guys that have been, on the judging side?
Yeah, and I think from a sustainability perspective as well, we want that too, because you want people to be drawn in to this idea that there shouldn't be a dichotomy between what is sustainable and what is delicious. These two things need to go hand in hand. And for us to really for us to really change the industry and how they think, we need to be thinking that there is absolutely no, shift in quality or in experience. So 100% you want to be thinking about the balance of that drink. And I think, just tying in with what Giacomo was saying about his process, I think for those that have, that follow what happens at Paradiso, and when you see those drinks, it's like, it's the thread that brings everything together, right? That experience of tasting one of your cocktails, Giacomo, but then the visual links to what that taste is going to evoke in you. And then the story that you kind of are understanding because of that also ties to then the visual cue that you're given in that drink. So I think it's that golden thread that comes through. And with a sustainable cocktail challenge, we're just elongating that thread to say, think beyond just, it's the thread in that drink, but then also into the ingredients, the impact, the wider conversation.
Jaco.
Totally. I was listen, Julian, and I was just amazed because is what is all about what we do, and I think is the present, is the future. No, I mean, cocktail of course needs to taste good. Is the main thing. When a customer tasted, he needs to be amazed about the taste. As you said, he needs to want to order a new one. The presentation as well, the looking is important as everything, in life. And as well, if we have a story behind, and if it's doing good as well, if it's sustainable, it's amazing, So this is the message I want to transmit to the competitor as well. We had this idea then something sustainable, it has to be something that is not good looking, or it's something green, but it's not true, Sustainability have so much range. We can do so much with it, and we can make it good, delicious, looking amazing with the story behind. So let's go, guys, and let's make wonderful things. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're all very excited for the competition that's coming. We're going to have 32 contestants down here in Nicaragua. competing for that $10,000 prize and to be crowned the world's most sustainable bartender. And I thank you both for your time as always, helping them kind of start getting in the mindset of competition and what they need to do to win this competition. 'Cause at the end of the day, there's going to be a winner and there's going to be 31 not winners. So
Disappointing people in Nicaragua.
it's yeah, it's time to really like key into that mentality and you know, practice your storytelling, get those creative juices flowing, start thinking of, you know, what those elements might be. And well, you know, people always ask me, well, we don't know what the ingredients are going to be. You can, I would suggest you research Nicaragua products, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to source it locally anyway for the Sustainable Cocktail Challenge. So start thinking what those elements might be, and you know, start going through your creative mind bank, and get ready for the competition. Julianne, any last words?
I'm so excited to see what comes up this year. I'm also so excited to know that there is going to be 32 different approaches to this question that we've thrown out to the world around how to create a sustainable drink. So really excited to see what comes out of it, and to hear the stories of those processes. So look forward to seeing you there, Luis.
Yes, thank you. Giacomo, you got the last word.
As you were saying, is a competition, okay? So my suggestion, I've done few cocktail competition in my life, is first of all, read well the rules, okay? Because in the end, the judge are there for see your mistake. So read well the rules, and as well as you were saying, like practice now at home, study Nicaragua, try to imagine how the challenge they will be, because more prepared you will be, less mistake you will do. So good luck, everyone. I've been last year. It will be through an amazing experience. It's a lifetime experience. So enjoy it. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Giacomo. Thank you, Julianne.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
guys. Thank you so
all
much.
the contestants who, yeah, go ahead.
I wait all of you in Paradiso whenever you
Yeah,
want.
fantastic. And thank you all for logging on to watch this webinar. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, and cheers to sustainability. Take care.
Cheers to sustainability. Thank you.